Hi, I'm Tim Elkhorn, the radio play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you're watching Keeping It Real Sports.
With Prince Bell, we watching real, Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in, it's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. I told you I got you. Wanna talk about the game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag man. Rep, gon' have to throw the flag man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, let's go indeed. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share, do all of that good stuff. And by all means, buckle up, cause we got a good one for you today. I'm your boy, the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman, Andy Sands. Out there, Sandman, look here, man. Man, we have really broke out all big guns for this show today, man. I mean, we've got between the gloves, man, with the Hall of Fame announcer, the man who called the Ryan Garcia fight, Al Bernstein, man. We got to stay tuned for that. He'll stop by and talk to us about that about 10 in this morning. You know, we got that going on. But Sam, man, we got hockey in full effect, hoops in full effect, and something called the NFL draft. I mean, we got so much, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Steve. And listen, once again, last night proved that nothing is better than Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
Man, you know, it's hard to argue that with you, bro, because I found myself this week like tuning into a lot of the hockey games. You know, I've got a couple of TVs, so one of them is definitely on hockey and one of them is on hoops. But, man, it's like this thing is getting pretty darn good, man.
It's getting really good, and you know what else is going to be good? Quick hitters, because we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Let's do it. Quick hitters. Quick hitters.
All right, partner. Well, we've been talking about it for months. Where's Lamar going to go? Is he going to get traded? Are they going to sign him? Well, it finally happened. Earlier this week, Lamar Jackson agreed to a record $185 million contract, guaranteed 5 years, $260 million. All that talk about him not having an agent, Steve, and he comes through in the end. He knew what he was doing all along. I give credit to the Ravens this time for finally doing what's right and locking in the guy that they had to lock in. This is going to be a dangerous team now, Steve. Lamar has to put up or shut up time, though, when you get a contract like that.
Bro, 46-15, he already did the putting up.
All right, well, now he's got to back it up.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's a better way of putting it, man. But I tell you, I kept telling you all along, I've said, people, $200 million is not what he's talking about. What he is talking about is I need to get more guaranteed than that guy. Who is that guy? Kyler Murray. I got to get more than him. And that's what he got. His whole thing was based off Kyler Murray money. You know, we knew that the Deshaun Watson contract was an outlier. This just goes to show you that the kid knew what he was doing all along.
Yeah, exactly. And you know who else knew what they were doing all along? Aaron Rodgers. It finally happened. The trade went through this week. He ends up going to the Jets as expected. I think it's interesting he's not wearing number 12 because of Joe Namath, out of respect, obviously. So for all the talk about what a diva and a bum and everything it is, he still respects the game enough not to want to take that number. I'll give him a little bit of credit for that, but he's still a diva, Steve, in the end.
Well, a diva he may be, but man, okay, let's just keep it all the way real like we do here. Number 8 is his college jersey. So that's his number that he wore in college. So, really. And besides, Broadway Joe had given him the go to wear number 12. So, much respect. But anyway, the saga is over. It's done. It's over. Rodgers is now a Jet.
And we're going to talk about the draft a little bit later, Steve, but already he's in the same situation he was in Green Bay. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this one kind of surprises me quite a bit, to be honest with you. They don't pick up the 5th-year option on Chase Young. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to walk, but at the same time, Steve, are they more interested in trying to get a bigger deal with him, or do they just not want to pay him altogether? It's an interesting conundrum there in Washington.
Well, the conundrum is, availability. Your best ability is availability. Well, Chase Young hasn't been available to this team. They've got a lot of dogs that hunt on that front line, so when they get to paying out money, that's not money that they want to pay out. But I'm going to tell you this. There is a team lurking in L.A. that is looking at this whole situation. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine if those two were to team up? Look out, NFL, that's for sure.
Man,
all right, well, we switched things around a little bit this week, but we had to do that because we had the privilege, you had the privilege of getting to talk to a Hall of Fame broadcaster about the fight that everybody can't stop talking about, Steve. Let's get the hot off the press.
Let's do it. Hot off the press. Keeping it real sports, welcome Showtime Boxing Hall of Fame announcer, Al Bernstein. Al, thank you for your time. Look, let's go back to the fight you called Saturday night. Garcia against Davis. The second round in particular, talk about what Garcia did well and then what he didn't do so well in that round.
In round 2, when he was actually doing pretty well, and when I talked to Joe Goosen, the week leading up to the fight, he said our big mission is not to get greedy. He pointed out that Rolly Romero got greedy and paid for it by getting hit with the huge counter left hand. Well, it's exactly what Ryan Garcia did in round 2 when, as you pointed out, I think I heard you guys saying it, he had a very good round 1, Garcia, but in the right way. Then he was having a pretty good round 2, but maybe not in the best way because he was taking a lot of chances. And then, as you point out, he threw that wild left hook and got countered. And again, getting greedy. So that set the tone a little bit for how this fight was going to go after that. And then ultimately it was the body punch of Gervonta Davis that got him. At the end of the day, Gervonta Davis showed us a couple of things that are why he's a special fighter. A, his power, which was dramatic, and B, the fact that he is a very clever fighter. His ring IQ is huge, and everything about what he does in the ring is designed to use power to win the fight. And that is exactly what he did. And in this fight, unlike some others, he was ahead on the scorecards. He wasn't in a position where he has been in some of these other fights. Even though he was very economical with his punches, again, as always, he was still winning many of those rounds.
We're talking aftermath of Davis Garcia with Hall of Fame announcer Al Bernstein. And Al, I guess this is a two-part question. Do you think the event was too big for Ryan? And do you think that the dehydration clause had anything to do with the outcome of this match?
I don't know. That's probably an open-ended question. And the other thing you can say is the mistake we alluded to, him not staying as disciplined as he might after that first round. Could that be because of the excitement of the moment? I don't know if he was daunted by the moment, but he ended up not having the same level of concentration and level of poise that Davis has kind of built into his performance. So was it because of the moment? I don't know, but it's possible, I guess.
Al, let me ask you, what's next for Ryan Garcia now that he dropped the fight? Is it back to the drawing board? I mean, where does he go from here?
Well, when you lose a fight, and when you lose a major fight, there's a rebuilding process, obviously. This was Gervonta Davis was by far certainly a step up for him, and one that at the end of the day didn't work out for him. Now, there's a couple of interesting things moving forward for him. Number one, he's going to fight at 140. Now, here's the blessing for him is he may be much more comfortable fighting at that weight. This time he had to get to 136. They had the rehydration clause, etc. I'm not saying that caused him to lose, but it was uncomfortable for him, obviously. But now he's going to be at 140. The good news is he's more comfortable. The bad news is 140, in my opinion, is the most talented division in boxing. The most talented, the deepest. So there are any one of the top 15 light, 140 pounders who I think are dangerous to any of the other 140 pounders. So where does Ryan Garcia go to get the matches that, he feels are going to be good ones for him?
Sure.
That's the danger for him. He's headed up into a division that is really deep and really good. So it's going to be incumbent upon him to improve and make sure that he gets the job done. Look, he has certain skill sets. He does have quick hands. He does have a terrific left hook. But against a fighter of Gervonta Davis's ability and cleverness in the ring, it wasn't enough.
Al, thanks for joining us. One last question before I let you get out of here. Is Tank Davis now the face of boxing?
During that broadcast, you may have noticed that while others used that phrase, I didn't. And the reason I didn't is no denigration of Gervonta Davis. I don't think there is a face of boxing. There's many faces of boxing. And there are many stars in the sport. And there are many people that each in their own way represent a big part of the sport. Now, having said that, Gervonta Davis has done some extraordinary things. He's filled up arenas all across the United States in, a number of cities. That's really remarkable. We know there are fighters that often fill up arenas in their hometown. He's done it in, 5 or 6 different cities, and that's impressive. And he's an exciting fighter, but I'm just loath to call one person the face of boxing. What he is a star, for sure, a superstar, and somebody that if they can continue to make big matches, if we can see him in there at some point in the next year or two against a Haney or a Shakur Stevenson, or somebody else that is the equivalent of that, even at 140 or somebody else, then he has a chance certainly to even improve his lot as a superstar in the sport.
The great Al Bernstein, thank you for your time, sir. You're the greatest. So there you go, man. Yeah, man, this guy,
And
man,
that
he just
that
gives
was
you so
only
much.
that
Yeah,
was only
partial.
1/10 of what you
Man,
actually
yeah,
talked to him about.
he was
We just
gracious
didn't
to
have enough time for the full
give us
interview.
about a half an hour of his time, man. I mean,
Yeah,
man, Al is the best, man. But his breakdown, man, and his astute analysis of the game of boxing, man, is one of a kind, man. He's definitely legendary, man. Definitely legendary, man, in that regard, man. It's definitely a blast to be able to talk to one of the greats, you know,
yeah, the
of
greatest
boxing.
probably from a
Yeah,
boxing standpoint, without
absolutely,
question.
man.
All
Yeah,
right,
man.
let's hurry it up, Steve.
Yeah, man. Al's kind of got us spinning, man, but we got a lot of work to do, man. Let's get into the week's news, sports news.
Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Let's go.
It's this week's Keeping It Real sports news. We call it the Hurry Up. All right, what we got first?
All right, well, we got the draft. Do you want to hit that intro?
Oh yeah, we got to we got. I'm sorry, we got. I'm shortening NFL draft coverage. All right.
In your defense, you were up till 3 o'clock trying to finalize the show.
Man, I like that,
We're
man.
gonna give you a little bit of a break today.
Let's
But
roll it, man.
hey, let's do it. Hey, listen, how about what the Houston Texans did, Steve?
Woo!
Not only getting their quarterback, which to me was a little surprise. I really thought CJ was going number one, but we don't have enough time to get into all of that. But how about trading up right behind him to get their linebacker as well? To me, this was without question the move of the draft, and hats off to what the Houston Texans are doing in a division that could potentially become wide open again.
You remember in our draft breakdown, on our mock draft breakdown, man, we talked about the defensive mindset of DeMeco Ryans. Well, they showed you that, man. They went and got the guy, man, that they can anchor their defense around. You can set sail with this guy, but they got the quarterback. The Houston Texans people pimped the draft. It's what they did. I mean, man, how can you go and get the second player in the draft and the third player in the draft? Houston, you nailed the first round of the draft, and people in Houston, there's a problem.
Yeah, they got to be excited in Houston for sure. And not only that, Steve, I like what they did in the second round as well. They went and got an offensive lineman to protect CJ Stroud already. So they're already thinking like he is the franchise, even though he hasn't even stepped on the field. He will be the franchise. He's going to be special, and I think he's got the potential to have a Hall of Fame career in the right situation. Whether Houston's it or not, we'll find out in the next 5 years, but that'll be a great start for him. You know who else did well was the Atlanta Falcons, Steve. I really like this pick because it's going to help take some pressure away from Desmond Ridder. They drafted Desmond Ridder last year. He's now their quarterback of the future and of the present. But to get a guy that's physical and fast and can cut and can catch the ball out of the backfield and can block as well, I really like Atlanta. You got him and Kyle Pitts on offense now. This is a good start for the Falcons.
Man, they landed my boy, man. You know I call him London Drake, man. Drake London last year, man. They landed him as well. The running was very, very much upgraded, so it was somewhat of a surprise pick. But when you got the best damn player in the board or in the draft or on the board, when you pick, you take him. That's what they did. You people quit sleeping on the Atlanta Falcons. They're better than what you think they are.
Yeah, and they've had a deep draft, too. They've done really well with every pick they've gotten. Again, Steve, that's the theme this year is having multiple picks, but being effective in using those multiple picks. And so far, the teams that were in the bottom are kind of moving their way up to the top because of what they've been able to do. This was a surprise, okay? Now, we shouldn't really make fun of it, but I'm going to make fun of it. You know why? Because I love it. I just love it when these cocky young kids get what they deserve. And this kid thought he was the cream of the crop. He thought he should be number one overall, and his tape says otherwise, and he got what he deserved, and he got taken in the second round, and he wasn't even the first pick in the second round. He was the second pick in the second round by the Tennessee Titans, who, by the way, drafted Malik Willis last year, so that clearly isn't going to work out. Look for him to get traded now, and they're going to bring in Levis to learn from Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Well, that's more of their prototypical quarterback. You know, the thing about him, I've always said, say it out loud. Okay, say it out loud before you do it. Okay, this guy had the idea that he was going to take bathroom selfies of himself posing, showing his physique. Okay, bathroom selfie guy. So that's what you get, bathroom selfie guy. Say it out loud.
There were a lot of concerns about his broken toe as well, Steve. So
bathroom selfie guy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, the character issues are definitely the reason he dropped.
Yeah.
All right, and then
so
let's wrap it up here with Ohio State having an outstanding draft so far. And not just Ohio State, Steve. How about this? 20 players selected from the Big Ten in the first 2 rounds after yesterday. That is an all-time record in the modern draft era.
It definitely is, man. And I tell you, man, the one thing that I want to look at and I want to highlight is probably the biggest reach in the draft, man, because it's a head-scratcher. What in the hell are the Colts doing, man, at 4, man? You know, you had options. You could have made deals, and this is what you came up with, Anthony Richardson. Like, the kid could be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but, man, I just have a problem with the guys that can't do the little things, man. I need you to make a layup and not a three-pointer all the time. If you miss on layups, there's a potential problem. I'm just saying.
The last first-round quarterback that had only played 13 college games, Mitchell Trubisky. You're in that conversation.
Okay.
All right, and let's wrap it up here with probably the best draft so far, right? I mean, they've got to be in that conversation.
Man, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, man, is what they are, or the Georgia Eagles, or whatever you want to call it, man. It is 4 Georgia Bulldogs from that championship team 2 years ago that's on there. You got they joined Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis. They get Nolan Smith with the 30th pick. They trade. How in the hell do you play in the Super Bowl and get a top 10 pick in the draft? Are you serious, Philadelphia? God, come on, man.
And now everybody in the NFC East has to deal with both Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and that front line every single week.
Yeah.
Have
good
fun with
luck
that.
with that, man. Yeah, man. Let's get good luck with this week's Between Circles.
All right, partner, we're going to run through these rather quickly because we're flying through the show today. Let's just give you an update on each series right now. Listen, Steve, there's a reason I didn't pick these guys to go to the Stanley Cup Finals or win it. I just knew they were going to run out of gas at some point. I didn't think it would be in the first round, but they're in a Game 7 tomorrow because of it.
Yeah, you keep playing around with Matthew Tkachuk and them, man. And, you know, Matthew Tkachuk has the capability of being a hat-trick scorer. Well, he showed that last night as he netted two last night. Man, watch out for the Panthers. You keep playing with your food, man, you get burned.
And they've made a goalie switch and went to Sergei Bobrovsky, and they've won every game since they've done that. So, again, it always comes down to goaltending. This series is over, though. After last night, a win in overtime, Carolina wins the series 4-2. Outstanding series overall, Steve. The Islanders gave it everything they had to the end. But to see that series end the way that it did was disheartening as a hockey fan. And if you're an Islanders fan, that one's going to hurt you all summer long.
Well, you know, the Canes were the better team, man. And it showed from the opening puck drop. Man, it's just the feistiness of the Islanders made the series, man, 6 games.
All right, this one is Game 6 tonight, and it's New Jersey with the lead, Steve. And there's one reason and one reason only that they have that lead, and this is the guy right here. They made a goaltending change after Game 3. He comes in. They've won 3 in a row ever since. Look at these numbers. In 3 games, he's stopped 80 out of 82 shots. You're going to win a lot of hockey games when your goaltender's playing that well.
Yeah, but when you change your defensive philosophy, kind of pinching everything in, man, they took away, man, the diagonal pass that was so successful for the Rangers early on in the series, man. They've totally taken that away. The Rangers have struggled ever since.
They don't like playing physical teams. New Jersey's a physical team. They're old school because of their head coach, Lindy Ruff. This reminds me of the Sabres of '99, Steve. That's all I'm going to say there. All right, let's get to the other series in the East. We've got Toronto and Tampa, and this is also a Game 6 tonight. Steve, are the Toronto Maple Leafs really going to choke again?
Probably.
I mean, they have not won a series since 2004. They had a 3-1 lead, and now everybody's talking about them losing the series. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. They still got 2 more chances to get this thing done. All right, who got it done in the West? Vegas. They win this series 4-1. We expected that to happen. This one, how about the Kraken? Fight, fight, fight all the way through to the end. But Colorado showed you their championship pedigree last night. They play like that again tomorrow, Steve. This series is over. The Avs move on. But watch out for the Kraken. They could sneak up and win it tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Game 7 on Sunday. This one is in the books as well. Dallas wins 4-2. A lot of people like the Dallas Stars to come out of the West, Steve. The way they're playing right now, I can see why. Jake Ottinger has really stepped up the last 2 games. But the reason I didn't pick Minnesota to win this series, and neither did you, they don't have any offense. And it showed throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
And this is the one.
Penalty kill, let them down, man. Let's get out of this, man. We got to get in the NBA update, man. So we pick it up, man, before we get out of here. So let's do it.
All right, in the East, we're into the second round already. The semifinals are set. Miami against New York. The Knicks handled the Cavs. That was embarrassing. They exploited all their weaknesses. But how about playoff Jimmy Butler, Steve Taylor?
Boy, Jimmy B has showed up and showed out. What it showed me was the Milwaukee Bucks has a lot of Pat Connaughtons on the team. It's too many damn nice guys, man. At some point, I need a road dog that stands up and say, let me guard Jimmy Butler. Nobody did that. Drew Holiday is a hell of a player, but he's a nice guy. I need a dog in this situation. I'm just sorry.
Who's going to be the dog in that series for New York? Who's going to take on that challenge?
I don't know, man. Who's going to be able to take on, man, playoff Jimmy, because Jimmy B is definitely on one, man. It's real interesting to see how they employ that. But the Knicks definitely exploited, man, the inexperience of the Cavaliers, man. You know, the Cavalier coaching staff just got taken to the woodshed, man. It's a shame, man. You got to reassess that. And then when the presidents say that they back them, scratch your head.
All right, another series set in the East. We kind of expected all of this to happen on this side of things, Boston and Philadelphia. Although credit to the Atlanta Hawks, Steve, they made it a lot more difficult than Boston wanted that series to be. But the real Jason Tatum showed up in Game 6. He was a dog in that game. How about that follow-up dunk that really put that game away in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I get all of that, man, but damn, Boston, why in the hell are you playing in a Game 6 against the Atlanta Hawks? Say that out loud. Yeah. You don't trust Boston, and it's those situations where it's like it gives you cause to pause. They shouldn't be in that situation, man. And Philadelphia, you've had a lot of rest. You better not come out and poop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Joel Embiid had time to heal up for sure. Let's go to the West. This should be a hell of a series, Steve. I expected to go 6, maybe even 7. Phoenix and Denver. Look at the numbers for Jokic against Phoenix, but I believe those numbers were without Kevin Durant being on the Phoenix Suns, so I think that's going to make a difference. I'm not going to pick this series just yet. I want to kind of see how the first couple games go, but it should be a good one for sure.
It's the reason that I put them numbers up, man. He don't give a damn if Kevin Durant is out there or not, man. Last time I checked, Kevin Durant ain't no defensive stopper. I'm just saying. And the thing that's going to catch up with the Suns is the multitude of minutes that its starters are playing. At some point, it's going to catch up with them. Cliff Paul, Chris Paul, whoever you want to call Paul, hey, you're getting old, bro. You can't be playing 45 minutes a game in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then the Lakers were able to handle business against.
Yeah, they mauled the Grizzlies last night. They mauled 40. The Grizzlies. And that gets us to the one team that nobody expected. The 2 words in sports that you want to hear, or you sometimes don't want to hear if you're playing, is Game 7, and we're going to get that tomorrow. The Warriors and the Kings. Man, it's a pick 'em. Who you got?
I got to trust Steph Curry. I got to trust the championship pedigree. I think, they will find a way to exploit the inexperience of Sacramento. But I will say this. I can't wait to hear that building, because I don't think there's going to be a louder building in the entire playoffs than Sacramento in a Game 7.
Yeah. Golden State, get your ass up out of here. That's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, man. You know, the worst team, the worst road team in basketball, it'll show up.
Well, they won Game 5 to get the series lead on the road, so we'll see. All right, one last thing, Steve. Don't forget, today and tomorrow, it's the XFL playoffs. In the South, you've got the Renegades against the Roughnecks, and in the North, you've got the Sea Dragons against the Defenders. Everybody's picking the Defenders to win the whole thing. But are you going to question, with everything else going on, are you going to actually watch these games? Or is this something we're just going to be, oh, by the way?
It'll be oh, by the way. It'll be oh, by the way for me. Yeah,
same for me probably as well. It's just lost a lot of steam with the draft this weekend and the playoffs for both the NHL and NBA. It's just not a good time for that.
Too much.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, that's 83 shows in the book, man. It's been fun, but we got to run.
Well, until next time, we wish you love
and peace. Chuck and deuces.